Hi, welcome to The Peaceful Home. I'm Teresa if we haven't met, and today I'm doing a bit of a spring check-in. I'm going to show you a new project we are working on that I'm so excited about. We haven't done any renovations here for many years, but it's time for one. I'm also going to give an update on the hawk, which if you missed this on social media, we found an injured red-tailed hawk on our property, and I want to tell you what's going on with her. It's pretty amazing. This is a bit of an eclectic video today, a little of this and a little of that, because I'm also going to show you some spring inspiration that I got just walking through Target and what I am looking for while I'm thrifting. Well, this library area has also doubled as our grandkids' play area. This is where they bring their toys, they build with Duplos, train tracks, Legos, dollhouse, all the things that they do, as well as running up and down the stairs and doing marble mazes down the stairs. So a lot happens right here. It's a bit of a tight space when we have 6 kids and 10, soon to be 12 grandkids. Wait, soon to be 13 grandkids. I've already lost count. We have 2 on the way right now, and it's just so exciting. We are so blessed. Now, it's not often that all of us are here at the same time, but even if it's only half of us, it gets crowded real fast. One of the things that we thought about doing from the time we moved in was doing something under the stairs. Now, this is an extra large house. I am planning a property video soon. Many of you said you wanted to see that. This house has very tall ceilings, and the stairs go up, halfway they turn and go up the rest of the way. And underneath, of course, makes a perfect spot for a closet, for bookshelves, or for a playroom. Now, going through right here next to the bookcase is the tallest part of the under the stairs space, but there is currently an opening in the laundry room. So right now, half of my laundry room is out in my living room. And so, it's a bit of that mess when you're doing construction or remodeling. There's just stuff everywhere. We removed the counter and curtain that are normally in here, and when you walk into the laundry room, you can see the door that it's just covered up with drywall normally, but you can go in. It was a damp, dusty, filled with mouse poop, spiders. It was so gross, but we knew it could be turned into something amazing. Right when you walk in, it's only about 4 feet high, but there's a good little space. And then around the end is where it gets tall. That's the other side of this wall. And it's so tall that I think we could put monkey bars in up to the ceiling. One side, I'm thinking about doing a rock wall. I think the area I'm the most excited about is directly under the lower part of the stairs, which obviously is going to have a very low ceiling, and it is the perfect spot for a reading nook. I would love to have that look so cozy, twinkle lights, pillows, and of course, books. Just to give you some idea of what I am thinking about, let's take a look at my Pinterest board. One of my first thoughts was to paint a mural in the playroom, and I was able to come up with a ton of ideas on Pinterest. I'm not sure if I'm going to go more whimsical, like animated, or more lifelike, but there were so many ideas, and just pinning them gives me a lot of options. Just love this wall. I could paint this freeform with a brush and a roller. I think it's beautiful. So pinning is just such a great way to get all of your ideas in one spot. Here's some ideas for possibly a rock wall, a climbing bar that could even have a little swing, and a pull-up bar. So these are great options just for having a little indoor activity, especially in inclement weather. Now this is the pin that actually captured everything that was in my brain. A cozy reading nook with lights, a place for books, of course, soft carpet, maybe a lambskin, and pillows. Oh, I just can't wait to get this done. I hope it's as awesome as it is in my head. The other thing I pictured was a Dutch door with a rounded top, and I was actually able to find this on Pinterest. I love this. Now, a secret hidden bookcase, that would be my husband's dream. We're not sure yet what we're going to do for the entrance. It's just lovely to have all of these options and ideas. And oh, I have this pinned twice. Just more ideas for the reading nook. Now this blue-gray cabinet on the left, this would be ideal because in order to have a door, I'm going to have to remove a cabinet that has all of our toys and games. So this would allow us to have doors at the bottom and storage on the top. Here's another awesome reading nook. I just love Pinterest for a place to search for and compile all of my ideas. Can we just pause for this darling nook with the round opening? I just can't. Our friend John is doing this project for us, and we are just so grateful for him. And he's already got about half of it drywalled. Once the drywall is all done, taped, everything's painted, then I get to come in, finish up the walls, flooring, and all the extras. Now I'm curious, if you have children or grandchildren, what are the current favorite toys? What are the things that your kids play with the most, the things that they don't get bored with? Like I said, we have Magnetiles, Duplos, Legos. Those are classics, but I'm open to new ideas. I think we still are going to keep toys out here, and as well the toys that I keep in the laundry room. That's kind of the checkout system. If they want to get something from there, they can check anything out. When they're done, they've got to clean it up and check it back in. Now I want to tell you about this beautiful hawk. We had not really seen hawks around here the first few years, but in recent years we've been seeing more. And in the last 6 months, we've been seeing 2 regularly right outside of our house across the river. They are incredibly beautiful. This one in particular, we've really had our eye on her. My husband's always watching for her. And when we were sitting out over on another part of the property, we saw her swoop down, and we actually really didn't see her flying almost until we saw her hit. That's what we saw. We saw her kind of hit a rock and tumble down to the ground. Now, we didn't know if she was injured and that's why she couldn't land well, or if that is when she injured herself. She kind of shook herself off and flew very low, just a little bit away towards the river. And we thought, okay, I guess she's fine. The very next day, our friend John, who's working on the understair project, said, there's a hawk over here and I think she might be injured. And we went out and there she was, and she was not moving. She was just standing in some grass. And my husband Kevin did a little bit of research, found out that you really can't feed them anything that they will eat except a fresh kill. So Kevin went out and shot a squirrel. And so hopefully that's not causing offense to any of you, because that's what the hawk would be doing naturally, but it's incapable of doing that. And Kevin fed her the squirrel and she ate it. That just made us feel good that she at least was getting nourishment. She actually ended up moving into the shade about 5 feet away later in the day, and she brought the squirrel with her. I posted a little about her in my stories on Instagram and Facebook. And Kevin did some research to find some people locally that might be able to help us with her. And we found someone at it's actually a science camp, you know, where kids go in California. They go for science camp every year. And there's a guy there who is certified in raptor care. So that's what he does. And he came out the very next day. It was fascinating. He did have a glove on, and he walked right up to her and just grabbed her at the ankles, right at her feet. And she allowed it. She didn't put up a fuss. We found out that hawks do not really bite or peck much with their beak. So she in no way tried to attack or peck at him. He said it's mainly the talons that do the destructive work. And once he grabbed her legs, then he was pretty safe. What a beauty she is. It was just fascinating to be able to get up that close to her. I was able to get up about 2 feet away the day before, and that's because our cat was going in there. And I was so afraid the cat was going to hurt the hawk was going to hurt the cat. I just thought this will not be good. So I scooped up our cat, took her away, knowing that she could go right back over there if she wanted to. Later, we found her sitting right next to the hawk. I wish we had a photo of that because it was amazing. We originally thought that maybe she had broken a wing, but the guy from Sycon said that it looks like her wing may be injured, but his concern was a concussion. He saw signs that that might be the problem with her, but he felt relatively confident after examining her that she could be rehabilitated. So he took her with him, and when she is better, he'll be bringing her back to release her here. So we're really excited about that. Let me show you what I found at Target. Well, spring has sprung at Target, and it's important to go in with your wits about you, with your cash in hand, and a clear idea of what you're looking for. Otherwise, you could spend hundreds and end up cluttering your home. So here is a comforter that I just thrifted for a few dollars, and it was $60 new. For the most part, Target has some beautiful linens, and they have quite a few new things that are very springy. Loved this one. Anything quilted. This Castellina set was gorgeous, but $40 for one pillow sham, I just don't think I could do that. Have you guys heard of Jeremiah Brent? I haven't, but there's a new line by him at Target and really some beautiful things. I didn't look at the actual tags to see what these things were made of, but a lot of linen, cotton looking things. These sheets were gorgeous with the stripes. There were really some nice things. I love the designers that they choose. I feel like they take people like Studio McGee, like Hearth and Hand, Magnolia, and they have leaders really in the industry, people that are leading with the trends and have a lot of traditional flair too, which I think is what makes a home so lovely. These welcome mats were at the dollar spot, as well as these green containers with the wood lids. So pretty. And these glasses were just gorgeous. I had no use for them. I mean, I could find a use, but I didn't want to spend the money. But if this is something you needed, boy, they're so pretty. And if you need a butter dish, I mean, how cute is this? And these bunnies, I actually bought these probably 3 years ago, and I've brought them out every year at Easter. They're just such a classic look. These plates were gorgeous. This pale pink and the glass one that has this little beaded edge. Again, just beautiful for a tea, for dessert, if you need something like this. This painting made me want to watercolor. I was like, I want to paint my house. I love these classic pieces by Studio McGee. These vases were so pretty. This one on the right, I thought, I wonder if I could duplicate that. The blue one too, solid blue, is just gorgeous. But these were $40, I think 40 or maybe 30. But it made me think, could I thrift something and paint it to look like this? So we'll see in an upcoming video if I can find something and see if I can do a little hack. This is more of the spring line, and there was just a really great variety. These huge baskets are so lovely, but I like to thrift for those because I won't pay full price. This blue and white pillow caught my eye, and it was so soft, just beautifully made. And this green one with the embroidery, it's like embroidery on burlap, but it was very soft, a really lovely pillow. looking at all of these beautiful things, I walked out with nothing. There was not anything that I needed in my home. Now, if you go to Target and you buy a bunch of stuff for spring, no judgment. I'm just in a season where I'm trying to have less, get rid of more, and use what I have. But of course, there are those times when you want to bring something new in, whether it's something thrifted or something you actually purchased new. When I'm thrifting, I am always looking for artwork in particular and pillows or pillow covers. I know that I'm going to be redoing my bookcase soon. It's time for a refresh here. And I've been looking for maybe a couple of significant pieces. Like this fern here is, has a presence. And with so many little things in the bookcase, I think it's really nice for your eye to rest occasionally on something large. Something that is just one piece, one thing to look at rather than 50 books. So I'm keeping my eyes peeled for something that would work here. And of course, I'm going to be looking for things for the playroom. I'm going to be looking for throw pillows for the reading nook, possibly a small bookcase, unless I need to build one. I'm considering possibly doing a play kitchen in there. I have a lot of ideas, but sometimes the thing that is so fun about thrifting is you don't know what you want until you see it. A lot of times when you're buying new, you can just have an idea, this is what I want, I'm gonna go buy it. I'm gonna just order this on Amazon. I'm going to go pick this up at Walmart. But when you're thrifting, you just come across things and either they work or they don't work. Either they inspire you and you think, oh my goodness, I just found the perfect thing for my bookcase. And when you know, you know. What are you guys thrifting for this spring? What are you thinking about in terms of spring decor? And if you have any suggestions for the playroom, I would love to hear your ideas. Thank you so much for joining me today on The Peaceful Home. It's always a pleasure to have you here.